Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush aamdeed, ji aaya nu,
Ni hao, tuna shumme, washwale. Oh, hi, Gonzalez, guten Morgen. Hola, boyor, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World. And I'm watching ball this morning alongside the very amazing, the very fabulous, the one and the only Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello, Shiza, how are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing very good today. How about you?
Well, I'm doing perfectly fine as well. It's just that I haven't really gotten a lot of time to catch up on my sleep as well.
Right, you've been doing so many things, mashallah,
Yes,
lately.
Alhamdulillah, I've been really busy as well. But then, other than that, I think at the same time, it's very eventful these days,
Yeah.
Rawalpindi and Islamabad, and it's because of the fact that these days, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan Cup is taking place, and I think it's one of the finest domestic cricket cups as well, where we actually look for talent, we get talent out as well. But unfortunately, there's this one thing which I never understood, and that
Okay.
was that, 23 names were actually given by PCB for the World Cup squad, and there was this fitness test, and the players were called for the fitness test. So then, the only thing which I was thinking about was that what is the point of a domestic cup, because what you do is that you actually, look at the performances of each and every player
All right.
individually, and then you induct them into the World Cup squad or any other matches which they have to perform for as well. But other than that, I think for all those people of the Twin Cities, if you want to have some fun, I think by 2 p.m. today, you can actually join us at Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, and the matches are actually telecasted live on PTV Sports. So I'm there too as well. Oh, I'm
Yes.
happy. What
And
about you?
someone was telling me that the entry is for free.
Yeah.
So I think this is a catch for a lot of Pakistanis like me out there.
Yeah, but the tricky part was, and I think it was wrong on my behalf that, ladies and gentlemen, I kept on saying that, but eventually what they did was that on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, the entry wasn't free, but on weekdays it is.
Oh, all right, perfect. So I'm coming there on a weekday. So, ladies and gentlemen, other than that, I really hope you're having a great week because, of course, it's the second day of the week. But again, I feel everyone is looking forward to it as the weekend. But there's one thing that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
And just before the show, Shahzad and I were discussing, how things go wrong with traffic lately because of one person's, sense of misresponsibility. Is that the
I
word?
think it's
Anyway,
just,
so
yeah,
I-
it's just, us being in hurry and,
Yeah, that's
forgetting
true.
that we are actually humans.
That's absolutely
Yeah.
true. So I happen to know a lot of people who have just started learning, driving,
Okay.
and they choose motorway to go practice over there because, of course, there's lesser traffic on the motorway, such huge long roads. So they feel like this is the right place to practice. But unfortunately, it is so dangerous for themselves as well and the people around them. We really do need to impart traffic education over
Exactly,
here,
that's
right?
what we really need to do, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, quite a lot of people, have misunderstood the rules and regulations of motorway
Right.
and the city as well. They're very different, and the environment's very different as well. So we've got a small video to share with you guys. Once you guys will come back, we've got somebody amazing over here in the studios. We'll be in conversation with that. And the best part is that for all those people who actually ride bikes, I think this is a show for you guys to watch. Okay, let's go. Let's take a look. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a small video, but today, ladies and gentlemen, it is a moment of pride and pleasure at the same time that we have been joined by DIG, National Highways and Motorway Police, none other than Mr. Ishfaq Ahmed. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you. I'm fine.
Thank you very much for joining us, sir. It's wonderful to have you over here, but let's get started. So Motorway is definitely a very different arena other than driving around in cities. How is it different, and is it more dangerous or is it more safe?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You pointed out rightly that it's a very different than city traffic, and I would say that it is more dangerous than the city.
Okay.
And the main reason for that is the speed. In cities, you drive slowly. If you even get an accident, there is no life risk in most of the cases.
Okay.
But in motorways, you don't have a chance. If you are over-speeding and you get into trouble by getting into an accident, so that can be fatal.
Okay.
And even if non-fatal, that is very serious. So that is a bit serious issue.
Exactly. But what are the most common issues you face I mean, for example, your subordinates might face as well. I think that it can actually probably be that people do fall asleep. There are other mistakes which people make as well. So what are the most common ones?
The most common, the overspeeding, the careless driving, and particularly at night is the dozing at wheels. Because it is a monotonous journey, and people tend to get sleep in the late night hours and early hours in the morning.
Right.
So these are the issues: careless driving, overspeeding, no use of seat belts. So these are the major issues, and we keep on briefing our commuters, those who enter the motorways, to abide by these rules and be careful.
Right. And sir, since you are talking about some of the very common mistakes, every other time when you're on the roads, not only on the motorways, but generally as well, you do read signs of, wear your seat belts. And we sort of take that for granted. We do not take that seriously because it's literally everywhere.
No,
I mean, a lot of people.
I wear my seat belt even if I'm wearing a suit or a tie.
Wow, that's absolutely commendable. But a lot of people do not take this seriously. Of course, it is fatal, but how fatal is it for the people around them as well?
Yeah, because if they meet an accident, of course, that is fatal for them also. So we keep on briefing the people, we keep on distributing the literature. We have our mobile education units, we keep on telling the people to use seat belts. But it's an ongoing thing, and we have to, continue with these lectures in these briefing sessions all the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, but sir, now I have a very different question, and this I'm very sorry that I have to be honest over here, and I would always like to be honest with my job too as well. So I have this habit of that, God forbid, if I've ever been given a ticket for overspeeding, I'll take a selfie and put it on my Facebook.
Okay, that's true, guys.
So this is one thing which I do every time. Now, what I have come across is that it doesn't really matter to the motorway police how fast you're going. What they'll do is that they'll chase you down, stop you, give you a 700 rupees ticket, and then you're free to go. You have no records. Nobody's going to know probably in the next 50 miles or probably 100 miles as well. And even if they're going to stop you, they're again going to give you 700 rupees fine. Now, what I'm trying to convey over here is that every time I'm going to overspeed, it's just a 700 rupees ticket. It does not really matter to the people. And then I'm still overspeeding as well. So don't you think that there needs to be a strategy where people should be stopped from overspeeding? Because the ticket is there to stop them from overspeeding, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's a very pertinent point you raised. And what we are doing is, we are doing two things. Number one is that we have put up a case with the government to increase the fine, because these fines were introduced back in 1997 when this motorway was launched. So 750 rupees is nothing now. So we have proposed to the government to increase this fine.
How much?
For different violations is different. It will range like about 3,000 to 5,000 rupees in certain cases.
For overspeeding as well?
Yeah, around 3,000 for overspeeding.
Okay, I'm not overspeeding then.
So that is the case with the government, and the government has yet to come up with a decision on this, number one. And number two is that we have introduced this M tag. So if this M tag is enforced, then of course we will have a data of all those drivers, those who are constantly, overspeeding, and then we will have an idea of how many times they repeat these things. So in that case, then we will come up with a strategy of, issuing some points to them or cancellation of their driver license. So at the moment, we don't have this data that this gentleman is repeatedly overspeeding and has been involved in this thing. So if that M tag is enforced, then we will have access to the data, and then we will come up with sort of a strategy.
And M tag is going to be compulsory for anyone who uses motorways?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So sir, I am going to present, this side of the story to you. These are some of the hacks that, people like me. I've never driven on the motorway, but I know a lot of people who have used these, and, also tell their friends to do this. One of them happens to be, if you're ever caught or you feel like you're caught on the speed camera, just, Viper shuru kar de, pani chala de, they will never catch you overspeeding. One is this. The other one, so at a lot of toll plazas, army personnel are sort of allowed to pass because they're already paying their taxes, right? So people who don't even belong to the army say that they do just to exempt the taxes. How are you going to take care of that?
Number one, I'll talk about the hacks. This is a wrong conception that using your wipers you will
Right.
just, not catch up in the.
And should I tell you, this is genuinely a question. Like people forwarded
No,
me
no,
this
no, no.
yesterday.
This is not true, because the radar, the camera which we have,
Right.
that is based on a technology that sends rays,
Okay.
You don't
and
like-
then they reflect back
Yeah.
to you. So that has nothing to do with your
Wipers.
Windscreen, right.
that records your speed. So if you have your wipers turned off or turned on, that doesn't make any difference.
difference,
Yeah. So
okay.
if somebody is under this impression that by turning my wipers on,
Yeah.
I'll just, be out of the camera. This is not
gonna happen for
yeah,
them.
no.
Okay.
Number two, about this the toll payment on the toll plazas.
Yeah.
Basically, certain classes of vehicles are exempted from paying toll,
Right.
such as the army vehicles with an arrow sign on that,
Yeah.
or the motorway vehicles. These are exempted.
pretty much that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if somebody, using a hack and just tries to, deceive the toll guy that time, they usually ask for the card.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do not let him go like this.
All right.
So that is, varies from person to person who is sitting at the toll plaza. But in most of the cases, they ask for your identity.
Yeah.
They don't let you go like this.
Yeah, okay, but
Right.
sir, I'm sorry that I'll have to put you under the spot over here. But there's this one question which I really want to ask, and that is that not just the motorways, wherever there are these toll plazas as well, even on GT road. So, first there was exemption for bureaucrats, people who had government or green number plates, lawyers, and then army officials as well, and then obviously traffic police as well. Why do you think that they have now, probably not included the bureaucrats, the lawyers, and all of these people, and only army people are supposed to go for free? I mean, don't you think that it's a general bias with all those other people?
No, army personnel, if traveling on their private vehicles, they have to pay the toll.
Okay.
Only their government vehicle with an
Alright.
arrow sign, that is exempted.
Why?
So that is the policy from the government. I cannot comment on that.
See, that's what I'm asking. I mean, for somebody who's actually serving the government, he's paying his taxes. I think that he needs to stand right next to the shoulder of any other law enforcement agency personnel as well.
Right.
No, but they are traveling in the official vehicle. They
Yeah.
are on duty. You can put it like this, that they are on duty. So as the case with the motorway vehicle.
Okay, so let it
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
We'll
All
sleep
right.
over it, ladies and gentlemen.
But just few days back, one of your people were here and we were in conversation with about this show, and he mentioned that whenever on the motorways some politicians or bureaucrats are moving with 10 or 12 vehicles, the first vehicle is actually supposed to pay and register the previous ones as well. So they're basically not exempt at
Yeah.
all. They're as basic people as you guys are.
Exactly.
But moving on with traffic safety, road safety education, and traffic
Yeah.
education as well. What are some of the ways in which we can promote traffic education? Of course.
I'll talk especially with the reference to the motorways. We have a specialized unit under the name of Mobile Education Unit.
Okay.
Every office sector means office of an SSP or the office of a DIG zonal office. So we have these mobile education units on a daily basis. Our team visits schools,
Yeah.
the bus addas,
Yeah.
even the madaris, and they impart these traffic education. We have our leaflets, so we come up with, pamphlets.
Right.
So we are trying to educate this traffic education. And recently, last year,
Yeah.
we included one of the chapters in the primary school textbooks
Okay.
about traffic education.
Oh, wow.
So we are doing a bit, and still,
Yeah, it will work, inshallah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now, sir, moving on, because we see that, cell phones are changing, technology is changing every day as well. And now finally we have cars which have autopilot as well.
Yeah.
And, even globally, if you talk about United States or England or Europe, they're moving towards smart motorways. And when we say smart motorways, they actually try to they're actually putting up a picture where the autopilot cars will be able to go, come, and the data will be recorded. And now they've come up with the technology where, for example, we were talking about overspeeding as well, that they have this average speed system that after every half a kilometer we've got a camera, and then they calculate the average speed with the average time, and if it does not match, so you definitely get a ticket sent home as well.
Yeah.
Now over here in Pakistan, first of all, we do not have a plan where we are actually going to give people the ticket once they're going to go back home so that the journey goes smoothly as well. Are we moving towards that direction? Do you think that we'll see that?
We are trying to get the desired, results. The first thing I would talk about is M tagging.
Okay.
So from 2nd of May, this M tag is going to be made compulsory. Number one. So when the M tag is compulsory, then we will have a data of the vehicles entering and getting exit from the motorways. So then in that case, we can, track the journey and we can track the average time of travel, number one.
Right.
Number two, the FWO is already working on this smart motorways, and on M2 from Islamabad to Lahore, they have put the surveillance in the PTZ cameras every 2.5 kilometers.
Okay.
And this whole journey is tracked. And then they have these control centers, 3 of them on the motorways, and then the journey of these vehicles is tracked. So once this M tag is made compulsory, then we would be in a position to track and record the journey, and then, of course, the ticketing might be issued and sent to the home.
All right, just one, I'm so sorry I'm cutting you over here, but I do have a question for you. So,
Go
sir,
ahead.
we're often told on TVs as well that 130 happens to be the helpline, right? So whenever we need to check if the weather conditions are fine or if it's safe to travel, we use this.
So can we use it right now? Can we put it to test right now?
130, of course.
130?
Yes,
While you do that, there's
Go ahead.
an app for Android phones as well. It's called Humsafar app,
Humsafar, yeah.
which now does the same job and it's operational, right? So
Yes,
we can-
operational for
tell us
last
about
3,
that.
4, 5 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Humsafar is basically as an Android application, and we launched this 4, 5 months back, and it gives you the complete position anywhere on the motorways. Like if there's a traffic congestion, if there is a fog, if there's a traffic diversion, so you can just check on the Humsafar app and then decide.
Wow.
To go, yeah.
I think that's wonderful as well, but I'm going to request my producers, in the MCR to please dial 130 and convert the line in over here as well. We just want to see the level of service we've been provided by the motorway police as well. But now, so moving on, since we have talked about the application, there's this one more problem which I faced myself as well because I travel a lot. And that is that, God forbid, for all of those workshops, we have alongside the motorways, I think that they're very expensive. And, one being expensive, other being that they lie too much about their products as well, because once what happened was that, my tires weren't fine, so I had to stop over. The guy sold me the tires for almost used tires for 22,000 rupees. The tires weren't good, and as soon as I reached Lahore, the tires went flat again as well. So do you think that we actually want motorway, or do you think that there's a need for motorway police to get into this as well so that people get the right service?
Yeah, actually, we do keep a check on them, but they are not directly under the domain of motorway police.
Okay.
On motorway, there are 3 agencies. Number one is the National Highway Authority, the Frontier Works Organization, and the NHMP. So these workshops and these places, they basically are under the control and command of these 2 agencies. We keep a check on them. And the thing which you pointed out has already been pointed out by other people as well. So it is not like this that they are given a free hand, but we keep on checking them, but still there's a room for improvement. And I will make this point and try to, talk to the concerned quarters to seriously look into it.
And we definitely want somebody to look into it as well. And now coming towards where we'll, I think, wrap up with this discussion too as well. That I'm a biker myself. We spend millions of rupees to get our bikes imported from elsewhere. And then, Islamabad Traffic Police, what they did was that they actually released a notification saying that from 9 p.m. till 6 a.m. in the morning, nobody can ride the bikes. And obviously, it is very dangerous to ride sports bikes within the city as well.
Right.
Even elsewhere in the world, may it be Autobahn in Germany, may it be motorways in England, or may it be motorways in US, or anywhere in the world, bikes are allowed above 600 cc or 559 cc as well. Why do you think that over in Pakistan, we're still not able to allow bikes to go on motorways? And there was a time, I think back in 2005, 6 or 7, when bikes were actually allowed on motorways as well. So when can we see a change in that kind of rule? Because there was a notification issued by the court as well, honorable court, and they said that the bikes can actually go, and then they'll require a biker card. And then there was another one because you probably went to the court and said it's not going to safe, and you never let us be on the motorway on our bikes.
Actually, the thing is that we don't have any personal enmity or issue with the bikers. First of all, I just want to clear that.
Yeah.
And number two is that there are issues with enforcement if we allow these bikers.
Okay.
There are issues in enforcement. Like I would tell you that I have right from Peshawar to Lahore, we have 67 points where one can enter the motorways. Okay? So in order to ensure that nobody without a biker's card and with the proper specified vehicle, I need to put at least one person on each point, 3 shifts for 24 hours. So I need 200 men.
Which is not possible, right?
Which is not possible. The issue is resources with us. And number two is that you are comparing Pakistan with Germany and all other civilized countries. The commuters, the type of people which we have here, we cannot ensure that they will abide by the rules, and it's very difficult for us to enforce. So that is one of the reasons that we would not allow these bikers to come on the motorways.
No, but that is a problem which motorway police needs to handle. Now, that's not a problem for commuters like us, or who spend a lot of money on bikes. And
No,
then
but what he means
they
to
wanted. I truly understand it, but I think that the way forward would be that the motorway police should actually induct or get the human resource so that we can do it.
Actually, you are right, but the thing is that motorway police cannot work in a vacuum. You know, there are lots of other things, associated with this.
Right, most definitely.
Yeah, so we cannot work in a vacuum, and we are already short of resources. And the day we get these resources, we get this manpower, and the commuters are so educated, maybe maybe 5 or 10 years down the road, then
Inshallah, of course, we're looking at a brighter future always. So towards the end, say just one thing. Tell us about the expansion of the motorways that we are looking at. And also, I absolutely forgot what I was going to ask. So let's talk about the expansion of the motorways.
Because the motorway...
Oh yeah, the recruitment process.
From Lahore to Multan, motorway is open as well.
Yeah, I'll talk about both of them.
Yes.
In the coming 4 or 5 years, we'll see a lot of expansion in the motorways. Recently, we started the third beat of this M4, Pindi Bhatia to Faisalabad to Toba, and Toba to Shorecoat. And last 31st March, we inaugurated the M4, the motorway starting from Lahore to Multan. And in the coming years, we will also be starting this road from Hakla to Diai Khan. This one section of this Hazara motorway has already opened.
As well, yes.
And in the next couple of months, maybe the further extension is open till Vattagram. And we are also taking this Swat Expressway from the provincial government, from the KPK government. Maybe the next couple of months it's also started. And we have also so many roads opening up in the province of Sindh.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so a lot of expansion is coming up. So that was about expansion, and I'll talk about this recruitment process. In motorway, we have induction at 2 levels. Number 1 is the patrolling officer, patrol officer. In common parlance, he is known as the sub-inspector, the officer which is on duty, on the motorway.
Within the beats.
So we are into that process, and they come through this Federal Public Service Commission. They have to appear in the written test, and then that is then in the interview and the driving proficiency test. And then another intake is at the level of the JPO, which is the constable. So they are recruited through the process of PTS or the NTS, the National Testing Service, and they appear in the written test, and then the interview and the physical test, all that procedure. So these are the 2 levels of intakes, and a lot of expansion in the recruitment is also going on, keeping in view the fact that we are opening up new roads.
Exactly.
Right, thank you so much for all the information. And since you're talking about expansion, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of patrolling vehicles have also been added to the set of that you already have, right? How many do you have, a rough number of that?
In motorways, presently we have I'm talking about the total motorways throughout Pakistan, the national highways and motorways. At the moment, we have a fleet of about 950 vehicles throughout Pakistan. And recently, about 170 plus vehicles are coming into the pool. Some have already arrived and other in the pipeline. So
I think that's amazing. But very quickly, sir, one last question. For example, if you come across a speed camera, after how long you're going to come across another speed camera?
That is not a fixed distance.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just find maybe after couple of, miles.
Okay.
Or maybe after like 20 miles, 30 miles, not fixed.
So you,
Because actually the thing is the speed camera is installed one camera in one beat.
Okay.
So it is up to the officer of the beat where he
Where to-
places it.
Okay.
So if this officer places his camera at the end of his beat and the next officer places in
At
the
the
start of
start,
his beat,
right.
so you may find it like maybe in a couple of miles.
Exactly.
Okay,
That was
okay.
wonderful. Thank you very much,
Thank
Ishfaq
you
sir,
very
for
much.
being with us. Lovely
Thank
to
you,
have
sir.
you over here on
Thank
the
you
show
for
as well.
inviting.
But before going towards the break, ladies and gentlemen, there's this one small message which I have.
Okay.
And that is that, I think that all the law enforcement agencies actually need to learn from motorway police. I mean, whenever I've come across gentlemen, I think that, for people who actually work for motorway police are true gentlemen. Whenever they'll stop you, they'll talk with you with much respect.
Yeah,
They
that's
won't
true.
tell you to get out of the car. They won't abuse you. There won't be any. They'll be well dressed. They'll be in their uniform. They'll be on point. And if they have stopped you, that means that you've done something wrong as well. And it's a big salute to the Motorways Police.
Absolutely.
You've actually set the standard very high for all the other law enforcement agencies as well. Please continue to do so. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. It was wonderful to have you as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go head out towards a short break, because usually what happens is that when you're on a motorway and you're at 120, you want to listen to some good music. This is what we're going to do in the later half of the show. Let's
Stay
do it.
tuned. Welcome back to World This Morning with Shazad Khan and Shazza Hashmi, ladies and gentlemen, on such a refreshing and informative morning.
Yeah.
Because in the first segment, we learned a lot about traffic rules.
Exactly, because if I could, ladies and gentlemen, since I'm a patrol head, I think I'll just have a house right next to motorway as well, because I like driving as well. And let me tell you one more thing which is very interesting, and that is that, because recently I was in UK as well, the motorways over there is very different than in Pakistan.
Okay.
So usually, if you're on motorway in England, you only have a speed limit of 40 miles, per hour. I think that's somewhat around 80 or 90 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
And it's very rushy, because the motorways are free over there. So, if you get, because there are these pieces in between where you actually have to pay for the motorway, that's the motorway where you can actually drive very safely and then you can have fun. But other than that, for example, the way you travel on GT road, is just like how you actually travel on motorways in England. I'm sorry that if I've offended a lot of people, but that's how the
But
reality
that's how
is.
it is, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, today happens to be the 9th of April, and talking about
Yes.
9th of April in history, you know, one of the things happens to be pretty important, not really relevant, but important as
Yeah,
well.
go ahead.
So on this day in 2005, Prince Charles of the Great Britain married for the second time Camilla Parker, it is?
Yes.
Yes, although I don't think a lot of people out there are a big fan of Camilla Parker itself, yes.
Yeah,
but-
and since you mentioned one of those things, I think that, you know, to come at par with your general knowledge, in 1967 on 9th of April, Boeing 737, you know, took off for its maiden flight as well, one of the very famous airplane
Yes.
brands as well. But I think that's for all those people to catch up with general knowledge. But other than that, I think that music plays a very vital role in our lives. You know, whenever we listen to music, you know, we have a transforming kind of mood as well, where, you know, it can take you from crying to laughing, and from smiling to dancing, and from dancing to, you know, all kinds of emotion.
Yes, it's a
So we
roller
have been
coaster
joined by
ride.
somebody over here who happens to be a musician and a singer himself. He's none other than Mr. Nadir Abbas Hashmi. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm good.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. Nadir, tell us about yourself.
Ji, my name is Nadir Abbas. I'm a music graduate from University of Texas,
Wow.
USA. And the journey was excellent. I learned a lot in music. Then I
Yeah.
went to Hindustan, where I learned classical, Carnatic classical.
Very nice.
And now I'm producing music commercials for TV channels, for drama
Oh yeah,
serials.
you've been
think that's
producing
great.
commercial music
Yeah.
as well.
So what
that's-
did you actually learn in a degree which is just about music?
Yeah, my specialty was vocals.
Okay.
Oh.
So I'm a classical trained vocalist.
Yeah.
And guitar, piano, and all, you know.
So you can play all instruments?
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
can play all.
that's like the ninth wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So Nadir, what are you going to share with us today? Let's start.
Yes, today I'll start with a ghazal by Ghulam Ali Saab.
Yeah. Oh, please go
I'm arranging that ghazal.
That's
And
great.
inshallah
But
soon
isn't
I
it a
will-
guitar used for plucking though?
Yeah, I will just trim the guitar.
Okay,
and,
very nice.
yeah. चुपके चुपके रात दिन आंसू बहाना याद है चुपके चुपके रात दिन आंसू बहाना याद है हमको अब तक आशिकी का वो जमाना याद है चुपके चुपके रात दिल आंसू बहाना याद है खींच लेना वो मेरा पर्दे का कोना दफतन खींच लेना वो मेरा पर्दे का कोना दफतन और तेरा कोठे पे नंगे पाँव आना याद है हमको अब तक आशिकी का वो जमाना याद है चुपके चुपके रात दिल आंसू बहाना याद है
Wow.
Wow.
Nadir, this was absolutely amazing. And this especially is so close to my heart because my dad used to sing all the time, especially with the harmonium for my mom. So we do know this
Wow.
one. But this was absolutely brilliant. Love your vocals.
Thank
Yeah, okay, but now, you know, this is one thing I wanted to know. Recently, we have seen that a lot of people are going to abroad to study music. For example, Salim Javed's son even went over there. I think he went to Canada for a degree too as well. But once you've done the degree and you come down to Pakistan and you see all of those musicians progressing who've never ever studied music.
जी जी जी
So how does it make you feel that, you know, putting in a lot of effort, going to other countries, learning, paying a lot of money, and then coming back and getting to know that, you know, okay,
there's
so
nothing
somebody who's
place-
actually never ever learned about music is a musician over here.
Yeah, very important question. Actually, to produce good music, you have to learn music. And in Pakistan, if you are see the musician, there are some musicians they are like studying music because in Pakistan, I think glamour is in first place and music and
I love it.
Exactly.
and music is on 10th place.
That's why half of my salary actually goes into the brands these days.
Glamour.
Exactly. So musicians already like they cannot afford to pay money for the heavy music videos and but I think to learn music is a good thing. Not for the professional musician, for listening and for enjoying the music, you should learn the music.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you know our producers and all those people who are actually in the MCR as well, they're saying that we should ask Nadir less questions and more music. So we want
They
to
love
listen
your
to
voice.
another song because they love your voice. We love your voice as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so what other song have you prepared for us?
Next song is my own composition.
So let's go
wow.
ahead with that. Is it about love?
It's about not love. It's about humanity and nature. And
Okay.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a life of a musician actually.
Life of a musician, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
आँखों में अपनी ख्वाबों को लेके चला, ख्वाबों में तेरा चेहरा बनाता हुआ मैं चला, मैं चला, मैं चला, मैं चला, आँखों में अपनी ख्वाबों को लेके चला, ख्वाबों में तेरा चेहरा बनाता हुआ मैं चला, 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 मैं चला.
It was
I could listen
wonderful.
to you
Just
all
a trailer,
day.
just a trailer.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it was wonderful, but
Yes,
on a lighter
absolutely.
note, आप बहुत चले यार, बहुत चले,
बहुत चले,
बहुत
बहुत
चले. And I think that it is very important in life, ladies and gentlemen, to actually dedicate yourself towards the destiny you have in your own head as well. And I think this is what Nadir is doing. Nadir, you're doing a wonderful job.
Yes.
But once again, I'm very sorry, yaar. I think I have this habit of putting people under pressure as
He
well.
does.
Since it's a guitar which is used for plucking, can you please do that?
Actually,
You know that Mexican style,
this is
something
not
of that sort.
This is not that guitar that
Okay.
I play. I
It's
can
a
play
different
that
type.
thing. I need to,
Yeah, you have to
Tune it
plug
well.
it, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
oh,
that's
But
why.
still, we can try.
okay. No,
if you
इस
can
पे
try.
होगा नहीं.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. But okay, tell me, Nadir, who is Nadir 5 years down the lane, probably? What are your future endeavors?
I'm working with some FM radio channels.
Wow.
I'm working for my own academy. I'm teaching music. I'm teaching vocals,
Amazing.
piano, and guitar lessons
Amazing.
with composition, with very basic theory, with basic notations. So
Right.
I want people to learn music. I want people to come and join my music classes.
Yes.
So not for only they want to do music. Actually, for listening music, it's very important to learn music. So you can enjoy more. You can have fun more. like,
Right, and
if you
also
learn.
since you are so amazing and you've already learned music from other places, it's sort of your responsibility to impart that kind of knowledge to the talent that we already have.
Which is
in
why,
Pakistan.
this is what I've decided, that every time a musician, a teacher, a philosopher, a poet comes on the show, there's one thing which I learned from them. So today I'm going to learn a rag from you. Teach me a rag which suits my vocal, because I wanted to be a singer all my life. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. For that, let me start the raga.
You know something of that sort. No, the easy one.
Yeah, this is very easy. It's,
Yeah, go ahead.
Rag Des.
Rag Des, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rag Des.
Rag
Okay.
Des from,
Don't take it easy. Yeah, he's off it. Come on. No, does it need to be a deeper,
Yeah, just
higher?
concentrate my voice and just match with me.
Okay.
You should come to my place. I'll teach you how to match the vocal. Dude, how to match the voice with the guitar.
See,
So
that's
now
why I'm not a musician. I'm a host. Okay, but it's perfectly all right. But towards the end, because we have to wrap up the show as well, we want to listen to something very interesting. My producer is saying that he wants to listen to a ghazal, but I would rather want to listen to, a patriotic
thing.
song.
No,
something
my
of
vote's
that
for a
sort.
ghazal. Forget
Okay,
it.
sure. Her vote's for a ghazal.
But think about it while we wrap up the show, okay?
Okay, so let us wrap up the show first. So, what, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, okay, today also, the 9th of April also happens to be Munir Niazi, a very famous poet's birth anniversary. So, ladies and gentlemen, a shout out. Absolutely, we absolutely adore and admire his work. Such a great talent, a pride of Pakistan.
Exactly, indeed. So, please make sure that you write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of...
Well this morning.
On Twitter.
Well this morning without a G.
On Dailymotion and YouTube.
Also well this morning.
And the fabulous repeat's going to be at
11 p.m. tonight.
Till the next time, 1-3.
Take care. Good morning. Over to you now.
Go ahead, sir.
जिंदगी में तो सभी प्यार किया करते हैं जिंदगी में तो सभी प्यार किया करते हैं मैं तो मर कर भी मेरी जान तुझे चाहूँगा जिंदगी में तो सभी प्यार किया करते हैं तू मिला है तो ये एहसास हुआ है मुझको ये मेरी उम्र मोहब्बत के लिए थोड़ी एक जरा सा गम दौरां का भी हक है जिस पर मैंने वो उम्र तुम्हारे लिए रख छोड़ी है तुम पे हो जाऊंगा कुर्बान तुम्हें चाहूंगा मैं तो मर कर भी मेरी जान तुम्हें चाहूँगा जिंदगी में तो सभी प्यार